Sarah. Welcome to the It's a Sarah podcast. Today it is Friday, June 30, 2023, and this is episode 91. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I love talking about my knit and crochet so much that I make episodes twice a week, every Monday and every Friday, and I make them in Dutch and in English because I'm coming to you from the Netherlands. So excuse my Dutchy English. I want to share my handwerkperikelen with you, my handwork adventures. I have had quite some. It's amazing how many handwerkperikelen you can have in only a few days. I have had too much to share them all today. I will save some for Monday because I have quite a busy upcoming weekend. And I do have some handwork time, but not much. So I only will pick a few handwerkperikelen today. And let's start with what I'm wearing, because I'm wearing again one of my own, no, not the design, how do you say it? One of my own knits. They are all my own. Myself thought knit. I don't know. This one is called the Scrappy Spencer, and Spencer is the Dutch word for vest. It's not a Dutch word. It sounds quite English, but in the Netherlands we use it for instead of a vest or a slip over. And I was wearing this last Monday, and this is the other one. I call this my Scrappy Spencer, and this one my not so Scrappy Spencer, because I didn't use scraps. I did use a whole skein of sock yarn, very lovely color, and I combined it with a pink alpaca sock yarn. This one is from Wol met Verve. Sylvia is a Dutch dyer, and I bought it several years ago, so I don't know the color number anymore. And I also am not sure she dyes it anyway. She still dyes it. I don't know. I don't think so. But I was very happy when I knitted this because I had just enough. I could just finish with one skein of 100 grams, so that was quite nice. I didn't knit these for summer. These tops, these Spencers. It was my plan to wear them with a long sleeve black t-shirt under it. And this one, it was absolutely okay to wear it that way, but this one, the colors didn't match with black sleeves, and I didn't like it. It was not, the balance was not right, so I didn't wear this one a lot. But accidentally I discovered that these are perfect summer tops, so I picked these the next day. Last Tuesday I picked this one and put it on, and it felt very good because the colors are quite better matching with my skin tone than with a black sleeved t-shirt. And it's really a nice woolly layer. It isn't so warm anymore here. It's now, actually it is my perfect summer weather, I guess. It's 22 degrees, a bit cloudy, and you can wear summer tops even when they are made from wool, with a tank top under it, and a linen skirt with bare legs. Do you say it with that? With nothing on your legs, no legging, no panty, and slippers, my Birkenstocks, and that is my perfect summer outfit. And I don't feel overheated. So that's very nice and very comfortable. So this one also is a little bit too tight under my arms. It is not annoying me so much as this one, because the bind off is looser, so there is stretch in it. I still feel it, and I was thinking about solving this problem, and there was someone with a very lovely suggestion to rip out the ribbing, and then knit it again, but with short rows, so there will be less ribbing here, and here it is okay. And I really love that idea. I don't know if I will do it because I don't have any yarn left, and of course I will need less, but still it's a bit exciting. I don't know. I was also thinking about sewing it double under my armpits. This one I will rip out the bind off and the last round, and then I will do the bind off again, but then a stretchy one. And of course I was thinking of knitting another one, a better one. But yeah, we will see what will happen. Yeah. I'm not a very big fan of alpaca yarn, I discovered. I'm not very sensitive to wool, but I am sensitive to alpaca more than to woolly yarns, to sheep yarns. And I do feel it's a bit itchy in my neck where there is no tank top under it. And I also don't like to knit with alpaca. It's a bit too slippery for me. I love the look of the yarn and it feels great, but yeah, I'm not an alpaca fan. I don't think I would buy alpaca. No, I don't think. Maybe when I'm really in love with a yarn, but I don't know. No. Okay, let's start. I have a finished object. It is this one, this little crochet vest. It is a Rumours vest. The pattern it's an upcoming pattern. It will be released, I guess I saw next week. I'm not quite sure, but it's the newest design of Claudine from the Iron Lamp, and this is called the Rumours vest. I won't share the details, and I will save this one for next week when the pattern is out. And I hope I have casted on. This one is for my youngest girl. I hope I've casted on one for myself or for my other daughter. I'm not sure which one I will do first. And I will share all my experience with this lovely top. I really, this is a one you want to have, I guess. I don't know the fit on myself. I do know that the extra small size is not my size. I did try to fit in, and I could fit in a little bit, and then I couldn't get it out because it was too tight, and I was so extra small is not my size. I think the small size is also not my size. I guess that's my other daughter's size. So maybe I will start with making that one, and then I have medium for myself. But I really loved it. My girls, when I showed my crochet work, and I picked some colors which I thought they would like. I'm not a very green. No, I do love green. This color combination is not really my combination, but I do love it because I think it's a balanced combination. It's a matching combination. But when I showed it to them, they both say, I don't love the colors. And I was surprised. And when I finished it and I added a pink border, they both said, "Oh, it's lovely." But I said, "You didn't like the colors, did you?" "No, I've never said that." That was not true. I know. But I really loved their love for this top. So yeah, I will save the rest for next week. I want to show you my page in my crafting book, in my handwerkboek. I made a special episode about my handwerkboeken last Monday, and one of the things was that I don't always take the time to sit down with a book to finish my page when I finish a project, because I have a bit of a handwork hurry. So when I finish a project, I immediately want to cast on the next project, and it's I'm feeling better when I sit down and I write down all the details. It's a bit like the circle is round, and then it's really finished. So I did that for my Rumours vest. I really love it. I wrote down all the details. Also the yarn, all the numbers, even the amount of yarn I used in grams. I made a little drawing with all the measurements, and I even asked my husband to print the picture. We don't have a color printer at home, so he does that at his work. and I put it in. So it's finished now, and I really, it feels really satisfying, as if my life is under control. I do have a good life, so but it can feel messy when you don't have all the things organized the way you want to, and it are details, but sometimes it is in the details, isn't it? So, okay. Then another finished object I'm really proud of is this little guy. Or is the girl? Are you a girl or a guy? I don't know. Doesn't make. I can't see. I don't know how you can see it on koalas. Is koala the English word too? In Dutch we say koala. I think it's English too. This little tiny koala is a crochet work made by my youngest girl, my 13-year-old daughter, and I'm really proud because it is so neat and so lovely, and yeah, it's just so cool. When my kids were younger, they are 13, 16 and 18 years old right now. I have 2 girls and the oldest one is a boy, and when they were younger, they quite often did some handwork. They went to a Waldorf school, so they got lessons at school, but also at home. Especially the girls, they love to knit, they love to crochet, they love to embroider. And our boy, he has other interests, but he did have an embroidery pillowcase, a cushion, which he worked on. I finished it a few months ago, and it's now on the couch. But when they get older, they lost their interest in handwork, and I really hoped they would find it again. Because when I love to crochet and to knit so much, to create so much, and I really want them to create, and they did other things. But I know a few weeks ago they were diamond painting. I don't know if that's also a thing in other countries, but in the Netherlands you can, that's one of the things you can do to relax. Diamond painting, and it's a bit like painting on number, a bit of a Bob Ross. That used to be the famous Bob Ross with the painting on number, and you add a little bit here, you add a little bit there, and I can imagine it feels very relaxing and meditating. Diamond painting is you have a piece of sticky paper, I guess, and you with a little pen, there are all numbers, all little squares, and with a little pen you put on some plastic tiny squares in several colors, and you create an image. And again, there's nothing wrong with diamond painting, I guess. When I should do it, I think I would also enjoy the relaxed feeling you have, but you're creating something, you can hang it on the wall, but it's a plastic thing. And yeah, I always think you can create the same feeling, the same meditative feeling with knitting or crochet or creating something you can use. And so I don't get the diamond painting thing really. And again, there's nothing wrong. If you love diamond painting, just do it. But I thought, okay, my girls love to do such an activity, but as a mother, I want to teach them to create things you can use. It's very nice when you can knit your own socks. It's very nice when you can knit or crochet a blanket or a sweater or a shawl to keep yourself warm. When you have to raise your children, is that part of the... How do you say it? Part of the raising process? I don't think that's the good word, but in Dutch we say opvoeding. But I also didn't want to force them into it. It is a creative process, and I don't think when you force creative processes, it will do any good. And again, when you are a teenager, sometimes you just don't want to do what your parents do. And I am knitting and crocheting all the time, so maybe it was too much for them. They are interested and they like it, and they are admiring my things. But when I ask, do you want it? No. But every now and then I speak to a friend, different friends, and they have girls in the same age which are crocheting, especially crocheting, quite a lot. And I always got a bit jealous. Now, I really loved it. Jealous sounds so negative. That's not what I mean. But I really hope that my girls would fall in love with crochet or knitting or whatever again. So, of course, I mentioned that always when we are having dinner. Oh, I heard she's crocheting such nice things. And it worked. Look at this. My youngest girl, she said, okay, I want to make a stuffed animal, a stuffy. That's how you say it in English. In Dutch we say knuffel. I want to crochet een knuffeltje. So we looked for videos because that's, I think can be very helpful. And we found a Dutch lady, and her YouTube channel is called Do It Yourself Fluffy. I will link it down below because she has all the videos, I guess it's amazing, in Dutch and in English. So she makes a whole koala and all the different other stuffies, and she tells you what to do. She tells you what to do. So the videos are taking 1 hour or 90 minutes, and then you have a koala. Of course, you have to pause and every now and then. So my girl, she worked with it, and she was very. I googled the word determined. I don't know. She was very motivated to finish it and to make it, and she was really proud, and I think she has all the rights to be very proud, because I'm not an animal crocheter. I never really loved doing this, especially because I can crochet all the parts, that's not the problem, but putting the eyes in the right place and putting the belly in the right place and the nose, that's not one of my talents. They always looked a bit silly, and I have a lot of respect for all the people who can make beautiful things, and my daughter seems to be one of them, because it's really, you are really nice. We did crochet the eyes. I made them for her because at that point she was struggling with the magic loop and the magic circle, and not the magic loop, the magic circle, and it was quite hard. We didn't have those plastic eyes or glass eyes, and we still don't have them. We will look for them when we are on holiday in a yarn shop, I guess, but this worked out pretty good. And she really loved doing it, and she started a next one, and she was making the next one, and she said, "Oh, I've learned so much. It's going quite easy already," and that was really nice. So I'm really a proud mother. My handwork heart jumps. My handworking mother heart jumps very high and very hard when, especially when I see my daughter crocheting. Doing it with the hands and also with the head, and I hope also with the heart, is very satisfying to see as a mother when your child is doing such things. And of course it doesn't have to be handwork, but it is nice when you are a handworking mom that your children love handworking too. So my other girl, my 16-year-old girl, she also wants to crochet something. A bag is her plan, a granny square bag. And her holiday starts today, so we will see. It's very nice. So then this one I cast it on, I think, I don't know when exactly. I was working on my Thea top. The Thea top is a top-down summer top from a pattern from Paula Strict. I was a bit confused because her name is not Paula. When I searched for it on Ravelry, I guess her name is Susanne. I don't know, but her Instagram handle is Paula Strict, and I forgot her real name. I think it was with Susanne, but you can see it on the picture. And I saw it on one of my knitting friends, and I really love the neckline of the top, and she sent it to me as a gift in my Ravelry box, so that was a very nice surprise. So I want to cast it on, and I did. I knitted with a brown yarn, a brown cotton yarn. I also used for my Remy camisole, and it's actually a worsted weight yarn, and yeah, as you can see, my needles are out of this work because I quit. Thea doesn't want to be a brown Thea. She will, and I don't think it was not about the color, because I really love the color. I really love the brown. I shall put it on so you can see. I really love this pattern. It's a top-down pattern, and these tops I made were bottom-up, but I really prefer top-down knitting because you can, yeah, it's just quite interesting. I always, when I make a top-down thing, I always do the thing. And then I add the ribbing for the armholes and the neckline, so I can check if it's really okay, because when you have to work all the body, and that's when you knit bottom up, then you have to do that work first. But when you have to knit all the work and you discover then that it's not okay, yeah, it's a bit then you lost so much time. But now I want to check, and there was a little thing to get gauge. I have to knit with a 3.25 millimeter needle, but the fabric is not very drapey, and the pattern is, the fabric is meant to be drapey, and the drapey fabric is a bit a thing for me because I'm a loose knitter. And my program is, I'm programmed to avoid loose knitting. But for the summer knits, I think I mentioned it before, quite often the designer uses a drapey fabric, so knit the yarn on quite big needles, so the stitches are getting bigger and it's airy and flowy and drapey. But my knitting mind gets confused by that, because shouldn't we be avoided the drapey knitting? So it's always a bit, and also with this one to get the right gauge, because my yarn was actually a bit too thick, I had to go to smaller needles, and then my fabric was tighter, and I do love it, but I can see why the designer has chosen for a drapey fabric, because it's not matching. It's too, it is lovely, but it's, I don't know. It was a bit, I have to look in the mirror. I love the color, I love the neckline. I also love, I don't know, it was too wide, too much positive ease for me. And I'm knitting the smallest size. It was not working out for me. So, and Thea was complaining, I don't want to be a stiff brown top. So I was wearing this one on Monday, and this one inspired me to knit some stripes, because I was knitting in I was looking in my stash. What do I have in my stash which I can use for Thea? And I was also wearing these two ones, and I was really satisfied, really feeling good in the thin fabric of a fingering weight knitted top. But I didn't have any fingering weight cotton, and I also am quite sure that I don't like to wear this on my bare skin with nothing underneath it, only a bra, because then when it's really warm it would get too itchy. So I really want to knit something cotton, but I didn't have fingering weight cotton. But I do own quite a lot of I think it's sport weight cotton. So, you have to sit down. So I filled my basket with a sport weight cotton, and I cast it on a very bright and colorful Thea top. And I must say, I'm knitting this on 2.75 needles. My metal ones, because my bamboo still has to be with a sandpaper or some nail. In Dutch we call it nagelveil. Nailveil? No, that's not the word, I guess. It sounds good. Nailveil. In Dutch we call it veil. Yeah. So that was a good advice. I don't own any nail veils. I don't do very good nail care. I just cut them every now and then. I have to do it right now. I keep my nails short because they don't look. They are okay, but I'm not a manicure type. That's not. I don't like to do that, and I don't like the look of it at my hands. So I picked my metal ones because I didn't have the patience to look for some sandpaper. I want to cast on. I have handwork hurry, so I want to cast on immediately. So my plan was to just knit a stripy version and alternate my Theas, knit a few stripes, and then knit a little bit on the brown one. Because I still wanted to finish it, and my thought was, when it's really too big to me and I can't wear it, I can give it to my mom or my sister or a friend. So I will finish it. But when I was knitting this one, my heart was really jumping. I had so much fun knitting the stripes, and I realized I didn't have fun knitting the brown one. And it is not... it doesn't have to be a problem when your knitting is not hard jumping when you are making it, because when you are able to wear it, it will be hard jumping. When I was knitting my Felix cardigan, for example, in February, I think the Felix cardigan was quite a boring cardigan to make. There was something nice and interesting happening in the reglans, but then it was all back and forth, and there was nothing happening, no shaping, nothing. It was quite boring. But I did love the yarn. The yarn was hard jumping to me, and also I knew I would have a very lovely cardigan when I was finished, so that I would wear it with a jumping heart. So that was enough to do the boring knitting. But this one, when I put it on, it was also not hard jumping because the fabric was a bit too tight, a bit too stiff, and the fitting was a bit too wide. So there was quite a big chance I will never have a hard jumping heart for this version of the Thea top. Maybe someone else, but that was not enough to keep me knitting. So I decided, okay, I won't spend my time on a not hard jumping project, because why should I? So I will rip it out. I want to show it to you, and then I will rip it out. And that's absolutely okay. I have no problem with ripping things out. It's just trying. And sometimes it's a success and sometimes it isn't. And that's not a problem. So I still would love to have a plain one in a plain color, but when I know the fit is perfect, then that will be enough motivation to do all the boring knitting. But I made, should I tell before I want to fit? I decided to make a colorful one. I put all my colorful scraps, cotton scraps. It's all 100% cotton, different brands. I don't know them because they are not labeled. They are old. I put them in my basket, and I don't have a plan. I do want to add brown borders. A few weeks ago I knitted a little cardigan for my little niece from the same... No, not the same. Yeah, it was a little bit the same, I guess. And then the same cotton yarn held double, and I also make a striped version with brown ribbing, and I really love the color combination of brown. Brown is my favorite color, and the combination with some bright colors really was fun to me, and I really loved it. So now I'm making one myself, and I will put it on so I can tell you more about it. When I put it on and I was looking in the mirror, I said to my husband, "Oh, it's quite colorful." And he said, "You expected that?" Yeah, of course I did expect it, but I'm not... I'm a very colorful person, but I don't love to wear all the colors, I guess. And I also am not a very stripy person, but this one made me very happy. The cotton is more... It's just solid colors. Doorbell's ringing. I'm not sure if I'm home alone, and I think it's yarn. Oh no, my husband is home. I'm curious right now. Yeah, I think it's a box of yarn. It's one of my handwerkperikelen from last days. I ordered some new yarn, but I will share it on Monday. Oh, I'm very curious. Do you know the feeling that there is a delivered a box of yarn and you are not able to go watch it immediately? I'm feeling that feeling right now. Okay, we will finish this video first. I love that too. What was I saying? I don't know anymore. I did knit the size small from the Thea top again, but now with thinner yarn and thinner needles, 2.75, and my gauge is quite on. Maybe a little bit smaller, but it's not far from gauge. So I follow the pattern. I only added a few rows to the straps because otherwise I thought they would be too the neckline would be too high. Now I'm here, I don't think it was really necessary, but I don't mind. I also the increases for the neckline, I think I should have started at a green stripe, if I remember correctly, and it would be higher, but I really love the increases of this one, the neckline of this one. It's a bit more squared, and I really love the look of it, so I want to create that on this one. So I skipped all the increases, 2, 4, 6, I don't know. I started at the yellow stripe, and all the increases I skipped, I added at the amount of stitches I must cast on for to connect the two parts, left and front. So I think I have to cast on 18 stitches according to pattern, and I casted on more than 30 stitches. So it's quite a bit wider. And maybe it can be too wide, I'm not sure, but the pattern also tells you the suggestion to add a row of slip stitches, so you can pick up much more easily, and also to avoid the stretch of the straps too much. It was also used in this pattern, so it was new to me. I never thought about that, and I did try it on the brown one, but it was too thick and it didn't make picking up my stitches easier, but I will try it again on this one, so we shall see. And because when my straps stretch out a lot more, the neckline will be too low, and I don't want to be, because this is cotton, I can wear it right next to my skin without a tank top under it, but then it must not be too low, because then I feel not comfortable. But I can add quite a bright border. I like that, and I really love it, the brown, because I want to make it in this color, a bit of a lighter brown than I use in the pattern, and a big border is nice to me. Also the strands are smaller than this one. I just followed the pattern, and when I make quite wide borders, they will have I love the white of this part, and I have a lot of space under my arms, more than this one, so it's very nice. What should I tell more? I did have a really struggle yesterday with Thea. I think Thea is quite temperamental. Thea is quite a complicated character. I don't know if there are any Theas watching, and if it's in the name, but boy, Thea has an opinion. She didn't want to be a brown stiff top. I understand that. But also, before I will tell that, I did make a little mistake here. I'm not quite sure what I did. It looks like I missed a stitch. But it's a bit, it's also in a color change. It's a bit hard to see. So I will, when I am here, I will drop a stitch and I will see if I can fix it. The beginning of round is in the middle of the back panel, in the middle of your back. And when you do color changes, I always think you can see it a bit. There are all quite fancy, you can see it at this one too. There are all quite fancy ways to avoid the color change, because when you're knitting in the round, it's not that the stitches are meeting each other this way, it's more in a spiral way. So you knit and then the other stitch will come up and you see a little bump here. And there are ways to avoid that, but every time I do it, you always can see kind of a need there, because you also are sewing in your yarn ends and you're weaving in your yarn ends. I don't know. So I decided that I would travel my beginning of round around. There is nothing happening in this pattern. It's only straight knitting, no shaping and whatever. So here's my beginning of round, and for the first color here, I have to show it this way because when I'm looking, I know it already. I slip a few stitches without knitting, and then I slipped 5, I guess, and then I added the new color, and I did it every round. So you knit the stitches as much as you would knit them when you just change your colors here, but you are traveling the color changing point. For when I was knitting back and forth, I used to weave in Steven. I learned it the first time as the weave in Steven method, when you are throwing your yarn ends around your working yarn, and when you do that several times, I did it 10 times every time, you can just cut them off and you don't have to weave them in by hand. I don't know if it's really Stephen West method, maybe it was already existing, but I will link down below his tutorial because that was the way I learned it. And I just cut them off, but I should have cut them off a little longer, because when I was filming my Dutch episodes, I fixed it already a bit, but there were quite some yarn ends peeping through. So here you can see it, maybe you can see it still a bit. There are some yarn ends because I cut them off really short, and I should have cut them off a little bit longer so they don't peek through, and that will be okay. But then when they were longer, we stay away a little bit further from the knot, so and that feels more safe. Now I'm knitting in the round. I don't do the weave in Steven because I don't like the look, and I do the travel color change, so that's not very working. So I will weave them in by hand, but I really don't mind weaving in yarn ends. Sunday is my yarn weave all your yarn ends in day, and I don't mind. I had a big problem with Thea yesterday because you start with the back panel and you knit and knit, and then you do some shaping for the armholes, and then you pick up the stitches. I did a provisional cast on. You pick up the stitches and you knit the strap, one strap, and you do some increases for the neckline, and then you pick up the stitches for the other strap, and again you do some increases for the neckline, and then you cast on extra stitches. So you join the two front panels together, and then you start doing the increases for the armholes, and when you are finished with that, you can connect the whole top, the back panel and the front panel. And of course it's important to be sure you are not there's nothing tangled when you connect them, because you want to have the straps all nice and neat and not crossed. So I was aware of it, I thought, and I did knit 2 stripes, the yellow and the coral one, and then I did a quick fit and I checked if the amount of ease was enough, if the armholes weren't too tight or too loose, if everything was okay, and it was really okay. So it was my plan to pick up the stitches for the neckline and the armholes, because I always do that first. I think I said it when I was talking about my brown Thea top. I love to work all those things first, because when there is a problem, I can fix it quite easy. And when I have knit all the body already, I have to rip out all the body of it, or fixing it is harder. So before I want to pick up the stitches, I did cut off all the yarn ends I had from the Weave in Steven method, and it was laying on my table, and when I picked my Thea top up, she was tangled. The straps were tangled. And I thought, huh? What has happened there? And I didn't understand. So I thought maybe when I laid it down on my table, maybe I picked it up the wrong way and I tangled it. So I tried to untangle it, but it didn't work. And I thought, I'm sure for 1000% that it wasn't tangled when I did a quick fit, and I really paid attention to the tangle, to all to be straight, and because I've a few times I've had projects where the stitches were twisted, and that can be very annoying. So I was aware of that. So I didn't understand what was happening, and I tried to untangle it, and then suddenly it becomes a bit of a puzzle, a brain puzzle. You know, you have those kind of puzzles. You really have to look at it, but you are looking at the wrong way, and sometimes the solution is very easy, but when you are doing the hard thinking, I'm a very talented hard thinker. I'm very good in thinking easy things difficult. That's one of my superpowers. So I was thinking, am I thinking too hard? Is the solution quite easy, but am I not seeing it? And I must say, one of the solutions was quite easy, because I only knitted 2 stripes, so I could rip out those 2 stripes and do the knitting again. It would be only 15 minutes of work, and I was aware of that. But there was a part of me that was very annoyed by the fact that I didn't get it. I want to get it. I want to understand. I want to understand what was happening, because I was so sure that straps weren't twisted. How could they be twisted now? There must have something wrong, or what did I do? So I laying down and was doing all the twists and all the turns, and every time I could make more twists, but I couldn't make less than 1. There were always left 1, and I didn't want that 1 to be left. So I was doing my thing and I couldn't get it, and I asked my children and my daughter's boyfriend, and they looked at it and they thought, but they also couldn't get it. But because sometimes when someone with a fresh look can say, oh, but it's that way, but it wasn't working out. And I hang it on a, how do you call it? In Dutch we call it kleding hanger. That wooden piece you can hang your clothes on with a pin, so you can hang it in your wardrobe. Clothes hanger? No, that sounds not nice. I don't know. But I hang it on that, and I hang it there and on the door, so I could see what was happening. But it was just it was so confusing, because it was a bit of a battle. No, not really a battle. It was a thing between my head, my heart, and my hands, because I really thought, that's interesting. I really felt that I was right. I was so right. And I think it was from my heart, but I'm doubting about that now. It wasn't my head telling me, you were right. It felt like I was right. I was so sure I was right. There were no twisting things, because I was aware of it. I kept attention to it, and I was so sure. But my head was seeing that there was a twist in it, and my hands couldn't solve the twist. So that was not matching. The things were not matching in me, and that creates quite a little bit of confusion, and it was quite interesting. And again, I knew that I could fix it quite easily, but I really love, I told you, I really love a good challenge every now and then, and I was in for it now, and I was aware I could always rip out the things and knit. But I love it when my knitting is teaching me something, when I can learn new things from my handwork, and I really enjoyed it, because it's really a personal and actually a mental thing to see that my knitting is it was not about the knitting. It was a metaphor for all the things happening in life, and it was apparently time for me to learn something, although I still don't really know what I had to learn. Maybe there were a few things happening. One of the things was I really felt I was right, but it wasn't. I didn't have any any proof. I couldn't prove I was right. So then I was starting to doubt at my own right, and that was interesting. But because when you are really thinking you are right, you are really feeling, oh, I am so right. I'm quite sure that it was this way. But the things in life or the people around you are not confessing it. You don't have any proof. Are you doubting on yourself, or are you doubting on the things around you? That was interesting to consider, and it's always easy to have a little knitting as exercise, not the heavy things in life, but just a little knitting. And also I was learning, I am so sure I was right, but was I right? So can I be so sure, but there was no proof. So how can you be sure? And I really think I am a person, I love to be right, but I also think I am a person when my right isn't proved, I can let go it and I can think the other things. But it didn't work. I spent 3 hours to untangle this thing, and it didn't work. It was really, but it was so interesting. It was so interesting. But I had my cable in it, my knitting needle. I'm knitting on a small cable, and when I do a fit, I have the Chogu interchangeables. When I do a fit, I remove one of the knitting needles and I add a long cable with a cable stopper. And I hate these little cable stoppers because it just fell down. I always do the tight twist and that it's all attached really well, but when I was doing this for hours, it fell off and my cable was through the stitches and they were loose, and it was not really a problem because it's all straight knitting, so I knew what I was doing. But and at the end I pulled out all my needle and cable, but I still want to solve the puzzle. I still want to solve the twist, but it didn't work out, and there were so many drop stitches that after a few hours I just thought, okay, let's go for the easy solution. I knew all the time it's time for that because I now just want to knit. I didn't show it to my husband. Sometimes when you show it to another person, you are thinking in the same position, in the same things every time. I was doing over it every time again, and then I really realized, okay, I have to go out of my own brain and look from the other side. So I put it away all the different, but it didn't work out. And when I ripped it out, there was a twist in it. But I still couldn't get, maybe I twisted when I put on the needles. I don't know. I still can't get it. And maybe that was the lesson I need to learn, that you can't get everything, that it's okay to not understand all the things around you. Sometimes you just can't understand a thing, and then it's okay too. So for me, that's really, I call it handwerkgeluk in Dutch, and I think the English word is handwork happiness. I'm really thankful I can learn so many things from my knitting and crochet, because through the years I do this. I have all those beautiful pieces I can wear, and I love to wear them, and I love to create them. So those are two very great aspects of my handwork happiness: create something with my hands and wear the things I made. But also I have learned so much about myself, about how I do the things, what kind of person I am, which things I am very good at, but also the things I'm not very good at. So I one of the things, it's my superpower. I searched for the word I think you call it pitfall in English. My superpower and my pitfall at the same time is my, how do you say it? Is that the word determination? When I go for it. When I want something, I go for it, and I don't get loose. No, I don't get loose. I don't. I don't stop. I just go and go and go and go, and that's very nice because it feels very powerful. But in the past, I also keep trying too long and too hard and go over my own boundaries. And now this time I really it was really satisfying that I could use my determination and my willpower to solve this problem, but I also respect my boundary. At some point I thought, okay, I can't get it and it's okay, let go of it and just enjoy the knitting. And so I didn't fall in my own pitfall. So maybe that was also what I need to learn or need to experience. So that was really nice. So I really love looking at my handwork that way because it goes so much deeper than just the knitting. For me, maybe you are thinking, what are you talking about, Sarah? Just talk about knitting. Just tell me, how do you do the increases or do the this or the that? And that's also okay. That's also okay. Ook is a Dutch word. Also, in Dutch we say ook. That's also okay. But I really love to search for the deeper layers in my handwork, in my knitting, because at the end I do not only have a wonderful striped brightful Thea, but I also have all the mental things learned about me. So that's very nice. So I will, the fit is good now, and I will start for the ribbing maybe this weekend. Maybe I have some time this afternoon, I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to Thea. So that's enough Thea for today. A little bit crochet at the end, because I think my episode is way too long already. This is my Ariana cardigan. No, it's not a cardigan, it will be a jumper. This is my sock yarn basket, one of my sock yarn baskets. I'm a little bit afraid they will fall out. All the tiny scraps of sock yarns I have in this basket, and I am crocheting my Ariana of it. And I use some black Retro Zaria Mondim as the main color. And it was my plan to decide if I want to make a cardigan. The pattern is from Amy Christophers. It's the original a cardigan, the Ariana cardigan. But I thought it would be nice to make a sweater of it, a sweater with a V-shaped neckline. And it was my plan to knit to crochet all the thing, and at the end do the front panel and decide if I want to have it open or closed. But it's just closed. It happened. I didn't want another cardigan, I guess. Now I did want another cardigan. I just prefer a sweater. And I think I showed this already. Oh, I really love it. I really love it. Oh, I think it's perfect. There will be a big black border. Maybe I will have it this way. The length is perfect, I guess, from this top under it. So, oh, I'm quite far. So I really love it. My basket also has some sock yarn leftovers that are not really my colors. I'm really a brown lover, but I also love all the bright and colorful works. I just love making them. I love using my scraps. So it's really fun. And I made a little pile of granny squares, and I have to add them. I don't know, and one triangle. And normally I make one granny square every day. I start my day with a 30-minute, I don't know if it are really 30 minutes, but I'm drinking my coffee while my kids are having breakfast and the day is starting. And it's really nice to start your day with a hard jumping thing. And I really love doing it. So I make one square every day, and that's the only time I work on it. The rest of the day I work on my other projects. And normally I would edit immediately, but I got I received the question of you so much how I join my squares. And I started 2 weeks ago a little series of how does Sarah do it? No, how does Sarah does it? How does Sarah videos? And I already explained, I do not make tutorials. I don't want to be a tutorial maker, but I just make very boring videos when you see me doing something. So you can you can see how I do something. And I link the tutorials I used. If I remember them, I link them under the video. And you can also share your own suggestions if you want to, or your questions. That's quite interesting. So I will make a video. I'm saving all the squares so I can make a as you go. How does Sarah crochet as you go in her Ariana Jumper video. So I don't know. I don't think I have time for it today, but it will be there in next week. And again, when you search on YouTube as you go crochet granny squares, I'm quite sure you get a lot of very good tutorials, so you don't need my video. But it can be interesting to see other people crocheting or knitting. I would love to see that too from podcasters, because sometimes the things that are really in Dutch we say vanzelfsprekend. I don't know the English word, that are really normal to you. Can be inspiring for others. I read quite some comments from people say, "Oh, this is so helpful. I never knew that this was also a way." So that was quite interesting. I loved those reactions and those comments. And again, I don't think I am doing things quite special. I'm just I'm not a very talented maid. I don't want to talk myself down, because I'm really satisfied with my knitting and crochet level. But there are many people much more inspiring and creating tutorials and videos that are more helpful than mine. But the one you ask, I give. Sometimes, not always, sometimes. So that video will come, but I don't know when. It's quite late today, and I have a busy weekend, so I think next week. Okay, so now I have it quite warm because all the windows are closed, and now I'm getting itchy in my neck because the alpaca is itchy now. So I will open my windows when I'm done, and I will edit my videos. I wish you a very nice weekend. The rest of my handwork perikelen I will share with you on Monday, and I will run downstairs and grab the box of yarn. I hope there's a story behind it, and I will share it on Monday. If it's the yarn, maybe it's something different. That would be disappointing. Okay. I wish you a very nice weekend with hopefully a lot of handwork time, handwerktijd, we say in Dutch. And I hope to see you on Monday. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.